Introducing a new piece I just completed called SUN TUSK. It's a 30-inch by 30-inch wall sculpture which is composed of shells from something called a scaphopod, commonly known as the tooth shell, elephant tusk, or white tusk. These shells were dipped in liquid gold and metallic dust, then glued into place and soaked in resin. White tusks are found burrowed into the sand or mud of subtidal zones throughout the world's oceans, but most commonly in the Indo-Pacific region. Because of their offshore habitat lodged in these soft substrates, most beachcombers are unfamiliar with them, and their shells are not found washed up on the beach the way others are. I had never seen or heard of these shells before until coming across this very cool, old, simple, ancient necklace online. These shells are known to have been used as currency by North American indigenous people or strung on thread as headdresses or jewelry as early as the Bronze Age. The inspiration behind and components of so many of my pieces tend to come from nature, usually either the sea or the soil, and in this case, both. Building wall sculptures using scraps of the natural world's raw materials, such as dry pods, seeds, driftwood, shells, pebbles, dry marine life, cotton and plant fibers, moss, bark, has become a trademark of my work. So discovering this elegant little sea creature with its curved fluted shell, chalky texture, and vast neutral palette of white, gray, and ivory, and the vertical colonies in which they live really captured my imagination as the inspiration for a new project. Another common trademark of my work is the presence of circles. The circle, universally, is symbolic of so many things: wholeness, perfection, eternity, cyclic time, and movement. With this particular piece at this particular time marked by a global pandemic and social distancing, a radiating mandala shape seemed like a fitting composition. The symbol is balance, healing, interconnectedness, unification. And the further along things evolved, the more this shape began to look like the sun, luminous, warm, emanating positive energy. In my quest to study the circle, I've also found inspiration in repeating patterns, micrographic line art, antique, botanical, and aquatic engravings, the vector of a curve, fluidity of water, dimension in sculpture, and texture in organic surfaces. And finally, obviously, a huge part of this piece was execution. As prolonged and laborious the process of creating this piece was, it's the result of the accumulation of slow, methodical, patient gestures, repeated over time to transform tiny single units into a larger, ordered, interconnected system. Working in this way is considered really tedious by most people, and clearly is not for everyone. But for me personally, these small actions and the gradual evolution of this whole, as it revealed itself week after week during quarantine, was extremely gratifying to experience. And as with many of my pieces, it made the meticulous labor, long hours, and dedication required really well worth it in the end, especially when that tranquil sense of peace and calm settles in you, as if having meditated, making any stress arising later in the day just a little easier to move through.